We're back with another episode of Biz Mindz, and we're here with Ricardo, the owner of Chef Global Kitchen. Ricardo, tell us a little bit about yourself. How long you've been in the Naples area?
My company's been in the Naples area for about, I say 3.5 years now. Me personally, I'm a certified chef, certified personal chef, and I've been doing this for about 10 years. I recently moved back to Naples 3 years ago. Did you grow up in Naples? Yeah, I was born and raised here.
Wow.
Yes, sir.
Same.
Nice, man. So you've seen Naples grow a lot.
Yeah, it's not the same from what it was before. There's a lot of housing that's being put up, literally everywhere. Before we had a lot of people that were living on one side of Naples, and they're kind of like getting like pushed now over a while. Things are being built. So
right.
It's kind of different, like not seeing like people that you grew up with. Yeah. Not everybody. A lot of people are still here, but
Right. And now you've been a chef or in the food industry for 10 years, you said?
Yes, sir.
What made you get into the food industry?
Well, when I say 10 years, I say professionally. I've been doing this for since I was like, since I was like 15.
Yeah.
Both my parents, they're both chefs.
Okay.
They used to own 2 restaurants out here, so I kind of I had no choice.
Yeah.
You gotta work, or
right.
you don't live there, So
right.
I grew up kind of living at these restaurants because if they were,
let's get real with it. You know what I'm saying? Because the food industry is hard. So we're gonna shine light on that today. So hats off to you, sir. Because the food industry is tough ass industry to be in. A lot of people don't know that. I think it's easy. So I want you to shine light on that, because I don't follow you guys so heavily, but just a little bit that I looked at online on socials. I know you're grinding every single day. So
yes, sir. Take
us from 15, how you got in, and then kind of build off of that, go from there.
Yes, sir. So so my parents, it actually started when I was 10. They had they used to have a kitchen, and then it was part nightclub for both of these restaurants. Uh-huh. So they would work from 7 a.m. to 3 o'clock in the morning because the alcohol gets cut off around that time. So they're cleaning up the kitchen and everything. So I would go to school till about 1 o'clock, and I would have to come over there, head straight there because nobody was home. Uh-huh. So I was there from 1 till 2, 3, 4 in the morning every day. Yeah. And I was kind of late to school. If my principal was watching this is why. I was like, I don't know. I was in the office. They were telling me like, "Oh, you just late." I'm like, I don't drive the car, sir. I'm sorry. But every night I think my first memory of being in the kitchen was I remember sleeping in the pantry because they had the club that night, and it was just so loud, and the only way to go to the bathroom, you had to leave the kitchen and go across the club floor to get to the bathroom. So I'm 10 years old. I'm walking across the club floor. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. People are looking at me like, what is this?
Where did this kid come from?
What was the name of the business back then?
It was called Caribbean Cafe. And the other
where was this?
It was what year was this?
No, where?
Where was it? This was in Bayshore. Yeah, they're both near Bayshore. Do you know where where the Subway is? Where that Grand Buffet is?
Yes.
Okay. There's a you know where Dimension is, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it was the other one. It's a Billards now. So it was that Billards that's there.
Oh, across the street.
Yeah. No.
On the other corner?
So the Subway's right here. Yeah. And then Dimension's right here. It was literally on the other side of Dimension.
Oh, okay.
It says Championship Billards now. So I was one of them.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Wow.
A big space?
Yeah. It was pretty nice. My parents, they were always doing these as partnerships. Mm-hmm. So somebody would run the alcohol and everything else, and they would just do the kitchen side. So it was half and half.
Your parents are still in business?
Yeah, with me.
Oh, with you.
I'll explain that. I'll explain how we got there.
Yeah, I'll explain how you got there.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting.
So after that, they had opened. I can't remember when they closed the first one, but they had opened the second one. And once again, I had no choice. This time, I'm in, what grade am I in? I'm in 12th grade, and I graduated early, I took classes online, so I graduated like 3 or 4 months before my class. And when I graduated, I would think I was 18. I was exactly like 18, and I had just I had no job. So they were like, okay, now you work with us, and like now I'm like, now I really work there. So they had me serving. I was a server. I was a bartender. I was a manager. I was the food runner.
You could do everything.
Yeah, they kind of like somebody that's working like somebody is willing to work 8 hours or 6 hours on a job, 20 hours, the 30 hours, like it don't matter how like I have no choice. So. With that being said,
by saying I had no choice, what do you mean? Did they make you do it, or you were in trouble, or
no, I wasn't in trouble, but it's like because that's how my family is when it comes to like, because they're both chefs and that's how my family is when it comes to food. We like it's in me, you know. So it's like you
had to do it.
You felt like obligated, like I have to do this.
I'm not obligated, but like, for example, when I used to do the Collier County Fair, right? So you had these kids where their parents would drag them from state to state to go to these fairs. Their house, where's your house? You know, so like, what are you gonna do if they're not gonna go home? What are you gonna do? You have no choice. So you have to travel with them. So you get acquainted to it. So when it's your time to, hopefully when it's your time to do something, you might want to do something else. But you think about, okay, what do I know?
Yeah,
I know how to travel and be that's all you know.
Right.
You can't be a physical scientist. Where
right.
You didn't see that, so
Yeah.
that's where you
right.
That was your normal.
So you were so 18. You started with your parents full time, right?
Yes, 18. That's where it all changed. I was 18. I started with my parents full time, and when it came to business and entrepreneurship, I remember one of my first glimpses is when my dad, he had a liquor license, and he asked me like. They're trying to get the bar like up and running. They wanted more people that were like 21 up in there. For their club scene to promote more and bring more revenue. So they're asking me like, he took me to the liquor store one day and he was like, okay, what should I buy for the
young crowd?
For the young crowd, and I'm 18 at the time. I ain't gonna lie, I've been to a rock. To a couple parties. I was like, you know what? I mean, like, I don't know, but you should get that. Get like 3 bottles of the Hennessy's. Get like 4 of those. One of those. And then, when they had me there for the club scene for the first time, I was kind of blown back by like the process of it. Just looking at it, I would always look at it from a different view. So I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, so you have these people standing on the corner, and then you have these girls over here, and you have these guys over here trying to impress these girls. Okay, first thing for them to do to impress these girls, they're gonna buy them a drink. Okay, so I'm seeing that. I'm like, okay, all right, this make a lot of sense. So, and then the guys that aren't trying to impress the girls on the floor, they're trying to come to the bartenders and say something, and trying to trying to get their number or something. So I would use that to my advantage. So I would do 2 things. When I went with my dad, I believe it was 2017 or 2016. It was 2017. Ciroc, Summer Colada had just came out. DJ Khaled, Diddy, they're all promoting this and that. I bought like 20 bottles of it, and then I bought regular Ciroc. The reason why I did that is because I waited a month after it was over, so I held it, and it was all out of stores because they're limited edition. They don't sell it anymore. So I sold regular bottles of Ciroc for I think about like 60, and I sold a regular bottle for $100, and I sold that bottle for like 120. So it's like, you want this or you want this. So these people, when they would come to this when they would come to the bar and they would be asking for these drinks, I would upcharge that drink, and I would talk to the ladies that are the bottle girls, and I'll tell them like, listen, I will give you like $100 if you can get $100 from him. If you can give me one sell of this, I'll top that. So that motivates them to sell. So they want something and everybody's getting what they need. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but at the end of the day, they're just getting the bottle. They're not getting anything else after the bottle. But yeah, so I also noticed like a VIP section. Literally, you just put a rope around the table. They will pay like $150.
Yeah.
Why not? Give them 1 bottle, 3 Red Bulls, and some ice and some orange juice. They will pay like $500. So I'm like, all right, you know what? We gonna run this all day long. I literally had a meeting. I had a meeting with these girls before we started, and I was like, listen, we need to go get that money. They have it in their pockets. Do whatever we need to do. We gonna go get it, you know. And like and it was just like it's really funny how like, you know, how people think and, you know, how like people act, and especially when they're out and about. But I did that, and then, you know, after that I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like I'm like 18. I can't be running no bar, because my parents, when they started giving me more responsibility, they're like, oh, he can handle it. Oh, all right, let's
give him more.
So like they would schedule days where there's no server. It's just me, and I'm like over here serving. I'm answering the phone. I'm food running, and people saying, I'm like, no, I can't do this, you know. And I had just graduated early, and I was like,
what were your parents doing?
They were running the kitchen.
Okay.
So they were running the kitchen, and somebody else was running the front of house. But besides that person running the front of house, they saw me as like a manager, because I was there regardless. Like I couldn't really go anywhere, because, you know, if my parents are there and I'm there, it made more sense to just stay there and make more money than just stay at home. Because what was I gonna do at home? So they're seeing that, and they're like, oh, he's gonna stay here regardless. So let's just.
You were 18, working at the nightlife.
Yes, sir.
And then what happened from there? Like,
okay,
what did you go on to?
The first thing that happened, I'm gonna be honest with you, I never made food. Now you see how I've been saying all this, I was in the front of the house. I was never in the back of the house. Right. I never worked a day in my life on a stove. I never made any type of food. All I knew was what I had at home. You know what I mean? Yeah. And there was this app that I downloaded. This app was called Tasty. And I think it's still around right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, with all those crazy recipes.
Yes, all the crazy recipes, yes. The good thing about Tasty is that you can literally put just one ingredient. I can say peanut butter. It's going to give me like 1,000 recipes for peanut butter. So I can use what I have to make those recipes, even if some of the recipes are just 3 ingredients, you know? So I got mad one day because, you know, I was tired of eating the restaurant food, because it's like Caribbean food. And I was like, I'm not trying to eat this every single day. So I wanted Chinese food, but it was across the street. And the way... I think it's Hammock. I forgot what that street's called. That street across from it's in Bayshore. It's
across from Bayshore.
Hammock Cove. Do you know where the Publix is on Hammock Cove? It's like Rattlers. Is it Rattlesnake?
Rattlesnake.
Yeah, Rattlesnake. So that road, it's a huge four-way intersection. So you gotta like press a button to go even across the street to Publix, and that's where the Chinese spot was at. And the restaurant's over here, Chinese spot over here. I'm not trying to wait 10 minutes at the light. So I'm like, you know what, man, and I told my mom, let me get some money. She's like, I ain't gonna give you no money. I was like, all right, you know what, I'm gonna make some food myself. There was a Dollar General across from the back of the restaurant. I went to Dollar General, I got my phone, I was trying to make some General Tso's chicken. I got the ingredients, I said, okay, all right. And I went to the kitchen, and they had the rest of the ingredients in the pantry and the cooler, and I was like, okay. I made it. It tasted good, and I was
you got chicken from the Dollar General?
No, not chicken. Like anything that wasn't, because you know the thing about cultural food is that like you have to have bases. Once you have the bases, you're set. Like for example, if you're making Chinese food, you have to have garlic. You always have to have brown sugar. You always have to have soy sauce. You always have to have rice vinegar, green onions. Once you have these. Always,
you can do everything else.
You can do everything because the marinades are always the same, no matter what you're doing. So, things like soy sauce, I had to go get rice vinegar, you know. And I'm being introduced to these things, and so I made it for the first time. And I was like, okay, this is good. So then I started making a bunch of random stuff because they had like it was like a free. It was free for me. I mean, to go to the pantry and just like take small little things. I'm not taking like I'm taking the whole thing. What do you call it? I'm taking like maybe like one green onion, one this and that. So I was making like macaroons, I was making sticky ribs, I was making all this and that. And then, I went on my phone and I searched up like culinary school because I was like really, now I'm like, I'm
now
18.
You're into it.
Yeah, I'm like 18. What do I do now? I mean, I'm going to do the only thing I know how to do, So I was like, let me go to culinary school. So I went to Kaiser University in Tallahassee. I was looking at that first. My parents did not approve of any of it.
Why?
Because I was like, because I got so good at that position at that restaurant, they were like, "Oh, you gonna leave? Oh no."
No. Even though you were gonna study that same field.
Yeah. But they said they want me to go to Lorenzo, and I was like, "I'm not going to Lorenzo. I'm not gonna do that. I gotta leave because if I didn't leave, they were gonna like
still have you working.
Yeah, still
running
working.
the place.
Yeah, so I'm not.
Yeah, because there's a Kaiser here in Fort Myers.
Yeah. So
well now.
Oh, back in the day there wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Oh.
And you know, I'm 18, so I'm not trying to like don't double my age already, and I'm just 18.
Right.
I haven't even seen anything yet. So
that happens a lot in the food industry, right? You gotta grow up quick.
Yeah, and I learned that once I got to Tallahassee. I'll explain that. My parents, like I said, they didn't approve. They wanted me to go to Lorenzo. I said no, I'm gonna do it. So my brother, he actually reached out. He's a women's women's basketball coach. I'm sorry. He reached out to a friend that was also a basketball coach that was in the area, and he didn't have a room. He just had a couch. So he had a couch in an apartment in Tallahassee, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna stay in Naples or I'm gonna live on this couch. What we about to do? And I didn't even apply to the school yet. I'm like, all right, you know what?
You didn't even apply?
Yeah, I didn't even apply yet. I was like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm gonna take the chance. So I moved to Tallahassee on a dream and a couch, and I'm just like, okay. Now I'm here, and my mom, she came with me. She saw like where I was living. I mean, obviously it's a couch, but she saw where I was living. She knew now that she could see the person, she was okay with me staying there. They had a bus stop at his apartment complex that would take me to the school because I didn't have a car at the time, right? And the thing is, like, so I had nothing. I just had like the couch in the dream. So
The couch in the dream.
yeah, I moved on this couch, right? And I didn't have a car.
You're very brave.
Yeah,
Yes, for real.
I didn't know what was out there, but I moved on this couch, and
What if you didn't get accepted? What were you gonna do?
it is what it is. I mean,
You went back to Naples to Lorenzo?
I'm not going. I wasn't coming. Listen. I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm gonna tell you one thing right now. This whole entire like process I had to do, there was no come back, because if I came back, I lost. The minute I came back, there's so much that happened in Tallahassee that like if I came back, they were gonna be like, oh, we told you like this and that. They would never let me do anything else. So I never said anything.
Your pride.
I was struggling so hard.
Oh, tell us.
So what happened? Did you get accepted?
Oh my, yeah, I got accepted.
Okay.
We went to go see the campus, everything like that, and then I didn't have a car, like I said, so I had to take 3 buses to get to school every day. Wow. The first one started at 4:00 in the morning. Oh my god, the first one started at 4:00 in the morning, and I took that one to the bus station, and the bus station took me to another bus, and that bus took me 1 mile away from it. Listen.
Dang.
It didn't even take me to the school. It took me 1 mile away from the school.
So
And
you
I'm
had 3 buses and you had to walk.
yeah, and I'm like, bro, like, and then the thing is, like, school starts at 7:00. I'm there at the school at like 6:30 because from 4.
Probably sweating.
Yeah, like I mean, I was sweating. I would get there before the school opened, and I would there was a McDonald's across the street, so I would sit at the McDonald's and I would wait for them to open it. I was always the first person there. Like, I'm talking about like
Before the receptionist, probably.
No. I'm talking about like the security guard had to open the door. Like he's like, oh, you here again? I'm like, yeah. Like he would let me in first. Like I'm talking about like he's the first person ever to come into the school and open the door. So, and I was really mad because like, you know, I was always there on time, and you know, like you had classmates. Class started at 8, so I'm there at like 6:45, and he's there at like 6:50. So yeah, class is coming at 7:58. Just walking in, and they're like, "Oh, my bad." I'm like, "Man, y'all don't even know what I had to do to get here." I never explained it though, because I never wanted anybody to feel sorry for me. I'm not here to I don't want to be no pity story. I'm not, I came to work. I know what I signed up for when I came here, and so yeah, I was going to school every single day. I did not miss one day of school because that was the reason why I went there. I didn't go there to party. I didn't go to this and that. I came to do that. So my whole purpose is I gotta graduate. Like I can't leave here with nothing, because I'm not gonna go back home. I'd rather go across to another country than come back home yet, and then be like, okay, like it was just that, okay, like we're not gonna do that, So story gets worse. So I'm at this guy's house, and then one day I just noticed he gets a girlfriend, and I'm like, oh okay, it is what it is, So he gets a girlfriend.
You're about to be kicked out.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So he gets a girlfriend, right? And he was all straight. He was cool from the beginning. And then I see he start changing, and then like,
oh my God.
And then the girl starts like making complaints about me, this and that. And then he was like, and then I remember one day he just got mad at me because like I'm living on the couch. So he's like, I don't like how all your stuff is around the couch. I'm like, what do you want? And like I don't have a room, but like I live on a couch. Like he's trying to make up stuff. He's like, man, you got your suitcase over there. What do you want with the suitcase? Like I don't know what you want in the closet. Like I don't. Like I live here, you know what I'm saying? So he was just making these little small excuses just to like piled in I could tell what he was doing from the beginning. You know, I'm a very visual person, so you know, I was, you know,
you're observant.
Yeah, in the back of my mind, I was.
Are you guys still friends?
Yeah. He actually is pretty funny. He actually like.
He works for you now?
No.
Does he still have that girlfriend?
I don't know what happened to her. But anyways, I'm on the couch, and then one day he's like, "Yeah, it's not working out, this and that." So I ain't got no house. I ain't got no couch. I didn't have a job, so I'm just like, what do I do now? So my friend Jalen, who was in school with me, I was stressing about like not having a house, and he was there as well.
Wait, how are you paying for things?
Was I paying for things?
Yeah.
Well.
Or you were living there for free?
No. My parents, they'll send me an amount of money to pay for the rent, and then when I settled in, I had to get a job. So I got a job about a month or two before he kicked me out. So I had the income, I just didn't have.
But not enough to live somewhere.
Yeah.
Where were you working at?
I was working at was it the Edison? The Edison in Tallahassee, Florida. That was my first ever like job. Yeah, the Edison, Tallahassee, Florida. It's a restaurant.
It's a restaurant. Okay.
I can't remember the park. It's a famous park in Tallahassee, and it's near the FSU stadium. So that's where it's like kind of like near like downtown area. So like it was like more hipstery, you know,
what
type
did you
of
do
food.
There? Chef?
No, they had me. No, I wasn't no chef yet. No, they had me on fryer. Like they put me on the fryers. Like I was fry boy. I was, you know, like you making. I'm making everything fried. I'm making fries. I'm making sweet potato fries.
He's just throwing anything in the fryer.
Yeah, like you gotta start from like they gonna put you on like.
I thought the bottom was a dishwasher though.
No. Dishwasher is like it's in its own lane, but dishwasher is respected even more than the fry cook, because if the dishwasher leaves, I have nobody. You have to respect that person, because in any restaurant, you know, like that's the highest respect I give to dishwasher, because if they stop, the restaurant stops. I promise you, the restaurant will stop. Like the plates, you can't clean the plates fast enough to.
Damn, man, that's a great. That's
Yeah,
like
they are the most important person in that restaurant. If they stop, the rest.
You blew a lot of people's minds with that one. That's 100% real. Though.
Yeah, I remember.
It sucks when the dishwasher's in there. It's like, shit, who's washing dishes now?
Yeah. I remember working
everybody starts looking around like, who's washing dishes today?
I remember working at Disney, and you know they were talking about I guess they made one of the dishwashers mad, and they were like in a gang, and they were like,
a gang?
Like, yeah, they be in little teams, they be in like little sections, and they're like, you know what? We ain't doing this no more. They literally, like 10 of them, they got together. Yeah, they got together, they started walking out, and then they walked out, and you want to see the pile of dishes, and there's 20,000 people.
What, Mickey has a team, and then Pluto has another?
No, so we're in the back of the restaurant. So they have the front. I was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany in the German pavilion in Disney. But you know, you got these dishes piling up so hard because it's a buffet.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Take 10 dishwashers out of a buffet with 20,000 people in there, and tell me what you're gonna do. When they walked out, the chefs were begging outside, like, please come back inside. Like listen, it wasn't that serious. They all came back. We got the job done. But like dishwashers are, they're the ones like.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. So you mentioned Disney. Take us through, like, okay, you had, how long were you in Tallahassee for?
I was in Tallahassee for a year.
For 1 year. So you finished the schooling program that you had to do?
No, I gotta explain that. Explain that. So because this part is very important to how everything became what it became. So my friend, when I was living in Tallahassee, and I just got kicked out. My friend in Tallahassee, when I was living there, he was at the school, and I told him I didn't have a place to stay, so he let me sleep on the floor. So I went from a couch to the floor. We're still good.
At least you're still there.
Yes, and this was on the south side of Tallahassee. South side of Tallahassee. So there's north side, there's south side. And the reason why I say that is because south side is like the hood, and I didn't know that. And I'll explain why I didn't know that later. He was talking to me one day, and he was saying, you know, I was living there for about like 2-3 weeks. I was getting my money up to save to, you know, get an apartment. And he was telling me like, oh, I'm gonna leave culinary school and become a rapper. I said,
what?
I said, because he's from Georgia. Georgia's right on the top of
What a drastic difference from culinary school to a rapper.
His parents paid for his schooling, you know, so he didn't care. They were just trying to get him out the streets, you know. So he just there just to be there, and I'm in the car with him, and he talked about I'm becoming a rapper, and I said, "Oh, all right, okay. I mean, like, you gonna stay in Tallahassee though, right?" He's like, "No, I'm gonna go to community college in Georgia, and I'm gonna move to Miami after that and become a rapper." I said, "All right, I ain't gonna say nothing. I just motivated his dream. I'm like, all right, you know what? You do what you gotta do, this and that." But in the back of my mind, I'm like, where am I gonna stay? Like, what's gonna happen to me? He's talking about you're gonna become a rapper, so he's talking about he gonna drop out. I said, okay, it is what it is. So, he drops out. I didn't have a place to stay, so because I was living in that apartment complex, that was the first place that I knew of where I could get an apartment. So I went there, I signed the lease, this and that. I didn't read the fine print. Lease says you got to stay in this lease, or you have to pay all the months of the rents.
Oh yeah, if you try to leave, yeah.
This is the most important thing about Tallahassee. If you are in Tallahassee, you need to know what I'm about to say right now. If your kid is going to FSU, is going to FAMU, is going to the technical college there, what these complexes do is they'll make the complex look so nice. I'm talking about like big pool, nice buildings, this and that, because the parents come too and they want to see where their kids are staying. They're like, okay, this looks nice. The area around it is the ghetto. So they'll put the complex right here. You go to the corner store down the street,
and you get robbed.
You get robbed
everywhere in Tallahassee.
What the heck?
You got crackheads left and right, this and that, staying up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you don't know that if you're not from there. But once you get enrolled, and your parents say, "Oh, this looks like a nice place. Okay, bye." You start walking around, taking the bus to go to school, this and that. You're like, I don't like none of this, So I was exposed to a lot of things, and when I signed that lease, I was like, dang, now I'm stuck on the south side of Tallahassee. I can pay my rent now, but like I'm in the worst part. And this is a part where I had a balcony in the back of my apartment, and I'm hearing shootings every day. I'm hearing police.
I did not see that coming.
I'm hearing shootings. My mom called me on the phone. I swear, my mom called me on the phone. She said, "Hello, how's everything going?" All you hear is and I'm like, yeah, and I wasn't trying to go back home, so I'm like, yeah, no, everything good. Like,
no,
oh my god,
PS5. You're playing PS5.
I'm like, look, the one thing that I've learned over the years is mind your own business. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever is going on, that got nothing to do with you. So
yeah.
Why are you gonna put yourself in somebody that, if something going on with two people down the street, I'm gonna go left. I'm not gonna go down to what's going on. No, you just mind your own business, and that's how you survive. You got mind your own business. So this was even worse because now I'm like a half a mile away from that bus stop, so I gotta walk to the bus stop. So I woke up at like 3:30 now, just to get to that first bus stop, just to get to that second bus stop, just to get to school.
My God.
At that time, I left for December break, and I want to come back home because I want to come back to Naples because I wasn't trying to stay in Tallahassee for this. It's Christmas, to see your family. So I came back for my first break. It was half of my first semester in school, and the place where I was working, they were telling me like, if you leave like during the season, like you can't come back here. And I said, I'm going back. I'm going home. I can see my parents, see my family. I still had my rent paid, so I left that job, and I came back home for a little bit. But then I came back to Tallahassee, and that's when everything changed because I was looking for a job, and once again I didn't have a car, so I printed out I made 30 resumes, right? And because I was 18, being 18 back then in 2017 was not the same as being 18 now in 2023 because now nobody wants to work, so it's like, oh, you have an arm and a leg? Come on,
True.
That's so true. Man.
Resume, what? Come on,
we'll teach you. Just come in.
Yeah, before if you're trying to work in the kitchen, you was 18. They were like, no, what you want to do at 18? So I didn't have any work history and experience, so I had to make my resume look super, 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 super good. So I'm adding problem solver. I'm adding like certified this, certified
quick on your
that.
feet.
So I had a cover letter, I had a resume, and then I had recommendations. So I stapled all of them, and I had 30 of those. So I'm riding around in this bus, and I have a list of all the restaurants I'm gonna go to drop it off. Somebody gonna give me a job, Somebody gonna give me a job. It was this next restaurant that changed my life. Food, Glorious Food. I walked in there. None of these restaurants that I was going to all day long would give me a job. I walked in there. The chef was in there. He was sitting down. And he had posted an ad on Craigslist about the job. So that's how I heard about it. And I get in there. His name is Kevin Leary, I believe. And Chef Kevin, if you're watching this, I love you. He changed my life. He was the first person to give me a job. And guess where he came from?
Naples.
He came from Naples, Florida.
Oh my God.
He was born and raised here. He moved to Tallahassee. He opened up that restaurant. He opened up a couple of different restaurants in Naples before that, but that's where he established himself. So that's the reason why he gave me the job, because he was from Naples. And he was like, "You're from Naples?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm from there too." He's like, "All right, you know what? I'll start
Connection,
you off."
instant.
Yeah. So he was like, I'll start you off on pantry. I would have took whatever. And that's the restaurant that changed my life, because their menu was different every day. They didn't run the same.
Really?
Yeah,
That's so cool.
Yeah, they didn't run the same items every single day. And my first day, he asked me, he's like, "Okay, usually in culinary school they want you to run by the menu, so because they want you to make it exactly how it is, because that's how you save costs and everything else like that." So when I get there, especially in a restaurant, they have an established menu. They know what they're doing. They know where they're going. I mean, they know exactly what they want to do. I get there and he's like, "Do you know how to make a shrimp salad?" And I was like, "Yeah." My first day, and I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Okay, go ahead then. Everything's in the pantry." I'm like, "There's no recipe books?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "What you mean?" He's like, "You got 30 minutes." I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You got 30 minutes. Go ahead." And he's looking at me like dead serious. I'm like, "Oh." And then I get in the pantry and I made like an Asian shrimp salad. Like that's what I'm talking about. Those marinades. Like you have to know. Like you just know. Like, okay, this is a marinade that I can make. That once I add this meat to it, it's officially Asian. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm basing off of what I was doing. So I made an Asian shrimp salad, and he liked it. He tasted. He's like, "Good, you're hired." I said, "Okay." Had me come the first day. They had me doing the craziest work. Like when I tell you, like, they treated me like I was at the bottom, and I loved it. They had me, like, they would drop off, like, 40 cases of potatoes. I'm talking about, like, the boxes. They'd be like, "All right, here's one peeler. All right, start peeling that." Like, they would have, I used to hate this. They used to have the truck come, these big, huge truck come, and they would have me move these boxes out of this truck by myself. And the line cooks used to watch me and laugh. They used to sit there like, oh, and it's like, you had to do it. You just had to, And this is a very fine dining restaurant. They've won multiple awards. The year that I was there, they won best restaurant the year that I was there. And to be a part of that the menu changes every day, I was just so like he's breaking all the rules in front of my face, because I'm going to school and they're teaching me this way, and I'm going here and he's teaching me this way. So I'm torn between the two of what's going on. That's when I was working there, and I offered to work full time and leave school, and he said no, because I love that restaurant. I would work there for free. He only let me work Saturday, and I believe he would let me work Saturday and Sunday. But the problem with that is the paycheck that I was getting, it would only cover the rent and bills. So sorry about that.
Are you good?
So the paycheck that I was getting, it would only cover the rent and bills. So I was like, okay, if I have no extra income and it's like $50 after this, like I need another job. So I got 2 extra jobs. So I worked at a Mediterranean restaurant, and I worked at a vegan restaurant. And the reason behind that is because I wanted to learn. It wasn't about the money. It was about, okay, now I have this under my belt, because anywhere you go, any skill that you take with you, it's an add-on to how much you cost.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If that makes sense. Any degree, any certificate, anything you got, like it gonna add on, and it's a part of you. So that's how you bring up your value. Because when they're saying, okay, why should I hire this person? I got this. What you gonna tell me? I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy. So the vegan restaurant, I got fired from there because I couldn't work all 3 at the same time. So I worked at the Mediterranean, and I worked at the Food Glorious Food. And then I went to school at the same time. It changed when I was in school and I was nearing the end. And the end to finish off your school, you have to go on an externship for about 4 or 5 months. It's like a real world, like, okay, now we're really in the field. I was already in the field with what I was doing, but it's as if like you went to school and you never stepped a foot in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. This is your chance to go work somewhere. And because, Kaiser University is a big university when it comes to connections, so they
Where were you learning more? In school or in real life?
Oh, in real life. Because like the dark sides of this industry, I was learning that. I'm looking at line cooks that they're like 30, 35. Everybody that worked with me was 35 plus. Like there was not one person that was 18. So I had to speed it up, because it was me or them. You gonna find me regardless, so I gotta move, so the things that I learned from them, it was kind of like good and bad. So some of them were teaching me some good stuff, but some of them some of them had like drug problems, some of them had alcohol problems, and it was just based off of their life. So when I'm coming in to a shift, and I'm young and I'm bright and I'm like, I'm excited, and you coming in and like you're hungover, like it kind of different story. And I'm just looking at this person, and he's like 35, 40, and I'm just like, I don't want to be like that, when I get older. So it's a lot of, but it's a normal thing in the restaurant industry. So you're seeing this, and I'm like, is this the life? Is this what it is? And partially it is. It's like, the stress. People get so stressed out. Some people got problems. Some people can't work anywhere else. So, they find what they can find. And
usually, like, kitchens are stressful.
Yes.
The chef is usually super stressed.
Yes.
And, kind of like leading the whole thing. But there's I think the cooks, the hot part of the kitchen, it's like also like super stressful, right?
Yeah. Just about every single aspect, just running the whole show. It changed when my school, so I went on that externship, and they asked me where I wanted to go, and they have partnerships with different resorts, Walt Disney World, and all these different places. Once he said Disney, I said, yeah, I'm definitely doing that. So this is when I transitioned to Disney. So I'm leaving Tallahassee, and I went to my chef. I actually asked him if he said no, my whole life would have probably changed. I told him I'll leave the Disney job and I'll come work for you full time, and I won't go. And he was like, "Are you crazy?" He's like, "You better go. Like, you ain't gonna miss that." He's like, "You better go do that." And I was like, "Okay, all right, you know what? I'll leave." Disney, I was in something called a Disney culinary program. So basically, it's a program where they take these kids from the top schools, the top culinary schools, and they house them. And we're all part of a program called the Disney college program. So I'm in the Disney culinary program, separate section, right? Then the Disney college, but I'm overseen by the Disney college program. So they oversee all the positions, because there's people that work in the park and they're from colleges, but they're not like in the culinary field. You know what I'm saying? So there's a culinary program, like the chefs talk to us directly. They're my supervisors, but nobody else can be my supervisor. Then there's the Disney college program. Now, don't get confused. Now, there's one more program called the Disney International Representative Program. Anybody ever been to Epcot?
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a kid.
So Epcot is the big golf ball, right? The theme of Disney's Epcot is international from around the world. The Disney Representative Program, all they do is represent that country. So you have the German Pavilion. Everybody in there is really from Germany. Disney has so much money that they would give them a visa just to, like, I'm German, like, just to stand there. And
wow.
So when you come to the park, you're like, oh, look, they're really from Germany. And like, you would think like, oh, they're all actors. It's all real, And this is the thing. If you didn't know this, back in like the 80s, Coca-Cola is the main distributor for any drinks in Disney World. Like, they have the contract for life. And in order to receive that contract, they gave Disney land. They gave them an apartment complex, and they told them that we want you to use this apartment complex to house your employees. So they've been housing employees since the 80s. And what did they use to house that? The college program. So they're like, let's take these kids that are on an externship, so they're getting paid a little bit and they're getting housed, and we take the rent out their checks. But it's kind of like free labor. You know what I mean? In a sense, it's like if we can't.
I know restaurants do that a lot.
It's like if we can't find the people, let's get them all to come here, and they can have housing and everything. So, Disney,
but it's almost like you're trapped too.
Yeah.
As an employee,
and that's why I left.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did you even get out of that then? If that's how it's set up.
Wait. But don't talk about how you got out yet. Talk about like we're in Disney.
Yeah. We're in Disney.
What did you do in Disney? Yeah.
So I was on a contract for a year, right? So they give me a contract. They give you a contract for 6 months to a year. It's either 6 months or it's a year. So I'm on contract for a year, and they put me at one restaurant. But this is the thing.
Which park?
Epcot.
Epcot, okay.
So because of that program, and we all lived in that apartment complex, the representative program that all worked in Epcot, they worked around the parks too, but they were mostly in Epcot because that's where they were housed. Because once you're on a 6-month program, somebody has to replace you. So if you're from Italy, somebody else from Italy has to come in the next 6 months, but they apply within a year ago. You know what I mean? So they're on back order. Like, they got people on
wait lists.
Yeah, I'm sure.
20 people on wait lists, just to replace the other person. And we all lived in the apartment complex together. So if you know Animal Kingdom and they're all from Africa, we all they all live together. So I lived with 3 people from Italy. Downstairs we got United Kingdom. Upstairs you got Brazil. From the side you got Peru. On the other side you got Mexico, and they're really from these countries. You know, they've never been to America. So
that's really cool.
Yeah, it is. And you know, we had a common ground in the middle of the apartment complex where you could sit down and, you know, talk to people in like a little park type of thing. And these people were telling me like, oh, it's like this in Africa. Oh, it's like this in Peru. Oh, it's like this in France. And I'm like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. We do this, we do that. It was such a culture shock. Mm-hmm. The first day I got there, I'm like, where are you from? They're like, I'm from South Africa. I'm from here. I'm like, what? I'm like, what? They're like, where are you from? I'm from Naples, Florida. Like, somebody was like, what is the Naples, Florida? I'm like, you don't want to know. So that's what changed my life, because they came here as a mix of seeing America for the first time, and they came to vacation. So what they would do is, you get about 2 weeks of 6 days. They would take all of their 2 weeks and go on like a little mini vacation right before their program ends. So they were going to like the Grand Canyon. They were going to the Hollywood sign. They were going to New York, this and that. Keep in mind, I had never been on a plane. So I'm looking at these people in my country, you know, going all these different places, and I'm like, I ain't never been on a plane. So like, how you living your best life here, and I ain't never been on a plane. So I'm just like, you know, this is unacceptable. So I'm thinking about going overseas. Yeah. So I'm thinking about going to my first country. It was Puerto Rico. Loved it.
So how long did that last? Like, how long were you at Disney?
So I was at Disney for a year. In the meantime of while I was at Disney, I was traveling. Like I said, I went to Puerto Rico as my first trip, and you know, I loved it. I went alone because I asked everybody to go and nobody wanted to go, so I was like, all right, man, I'll just go alone. So I call my mom on the phone. It was the funniest thing. You gotta say, you won't believe. Like, I call my mom every country I go to because I never tell her I went, because she would never approve. So I was in Puerto Rico, and I was like, oh look, I'm in Puerto Rico. I FaceTime her. She's like, what? She's like, what? How?
When did you go?
These expenses were all paid from the company?
No. Okay. So I got a little trick if you ever want to travel. That's why they call me Chef Global. I got a little trick. So
I'm excited for this.
So if I'm gonna travel in a month, first thing you gotta do, buy the plane ticket. Just buy the plane ticket. Just if it's $200, buy the plane ticket. But buy it a month from now. You're gonna find a way to get there. Then what you do is, okay, let's say if you have, because you know Disney, you have like 2 weeks of call-offs. So you gotta buy the plane ticket on a day that you're already off. So if I'm already off on a Tuesday, then I just have to use the 2 weeks of my call off, and I can trade shifts with somebody else. So I can create like a whole 2 week vacation, and out of those call outs. But I won't use all 2 weeks of it. I'll use parts and pieces. So if I'm going to Puerto Rico for 3 days, if I was already off on the Saturday, for example, I'll trade with somebody for Thursday and Friday for that week. Now I'm off the whole 3 days. Mm-hmm. I book it at the end of the month, so 31st. So what you want to do is you want to book it on the 1st to get the plane. Now you got to worry about the hotel. As you keep working, save like $50 on the side, and then eventually you'll get the money for the hotel, and you'll get money, like plane money, to go around, and you paid for the whole trip, and because you kept putting it on the side. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So now when I eventually get to the trip, I have money, and I have the place where I'm staying, and I have money to spend to where I'm going to go to. What I did was like kind of called it like a food vacation type of thing. Like, just eat. What is this? I don't know what it is. Okay, we're gonna eat it. What is this cultural food? You know. Yeah. The people of Puerto Rico treated me so well. I had to keep doing it because they had something there. Like, remember when the hurricane passed in Puerto Rico? They had a restaurant. I'll never forget this. They had a 5-star restaurant in the ghetto, like in the ghetto of Puerto Rico. They had a 5-star restaurant. It was like, I'm sorry, I said 5-star. A fine dining restaurant. They had a fine dining restaurant in Puerto Rico in the ghetto, and it was like they only had 3 walls. One of the walls was like this wall is gone, and you can just you can walk past me and see me. And they were making gastronomy. So gastronomy is the science of food, like with the foams and the little balls and everything like that. They were making that in a broken down restaurant, and they had their table was like this big. In Disney, you got 20,000 employees, you got the biggest kitchens, you got this and that. They making the hardest food I've ever seen in my life with one dishwasher, a little table like this, and no wall. And I'm just like, you don't need all of this. You just need the chef talks to me. He's like, you just need passion, you need love. That's all you need. You don't need any of that, any of the craziness, So I couldn't get enough of that. Then after that, I just kept calling off. I kept traveling. I kept taking those little 3-day breaks. I went to Mexico. We went to Colombia. We went everywhere. Anywhere I could go at the time that was cheaper, I would go there. A little trick for traveling. So Paris, France, for example, right? Paris, France. There's a port for every country. For every continent, there's a port of where they come into. Like it's a proven fact. If you're coming from Paris, France, or you're coming from Europe, you have to stop in New York because that's where they come into, because it's the closest thing to that side of that continent, right? So if you have people continuously coming to New York, that's why you had it was like a melting pot in New York because you had so many different people because that was the side that they came from. Mm-hmm. The tickets are obviously cheaper because you have so many people coming in from there to New York. So if you ever want to book a flight, book it from the port that's closest to that country. So right now, I could probably find a plane ticket for like $300 to Paris, France from New York. But this is the thing. You want to take a trip from Fort Myers Airport to New York. If you find on a good time, it'll be like $50. So you're paying like $350 for the whole flight. Because the thing is, Fort Myers to New York.
Instead of flying direct from here.
Exactly.
Or Miami.
Fort Myers.
You should be a travel agent.
Yeah, for real. Because anytime I've looked, and I've traveled to New York multiple times, I've paid at least $200. And that's like on the cheaper end, because if it's like during the holidays and stuff, then it's like $300 or $400 and something just for yourself to go.
But listen, if you're in Fort Myers and you take a trip to New York, you're going straight to New York, right? But if you go from Fort Myers to Europe, to Paris, that's where they get you. They're going to charge you like $800 just for you to have one stop in New York. All I did was break the tickets. I went from Fort Myers to New York, stop right there. That's a broken ticket. Then I went from New York to Paris. Stop
and that's
right there.
how you save so much money.
They're going to make you stop regardless. Wherever, do not ever.
That makes so much sense, because I've looked at trips to like other parts of Europe because I want to travel, but crap's expensive. Yes. And it's over $1,000 to try to fly anywhere to Europe. Yes. From Fort Myers or Miami, whatever. Never fly directly to. You got to find the port. You got to go to the port, and then you got to go to that area. Travel hack.
The reason why I say Paris, France, is because now Paris, France is the port for Europe. I'm gonna tell you right now, and you're gonna look at your phone after this conversation. You fly anywhere from Paris, France. The thing about Europe or any of these other countries is that these little countries in Europe, they're like states. So if I'm going, so imagine I'm going from here to Texas, it's probably like 3 hours, right? It's the same thing. I can go to Italy in 3 hours. It's gonna cost me like $25, $50.
Because once you're there, it's super cheap.
Super cheap. It's like $38. Yeah. So you find the port, then you get there, and then you take that flight to wherever you want to go. Even the train, you can take a train to any country for like $20 for like a membership pass, and you just.
We're doing that.
Global hacking.
Global hacking.
Anyways, back to the story. So I was at Walt Disney World, did that for a little bit, and
how is it working for Disney?
It's a lot because there's a lot of volume. I remember on Christmas Day, I think we said a prayer because they were like, okay, we got like 100. They're like, this chef, he had a report. He's like, okay, report for the part this week, 100,000 on the books. I should be like,
oh my god.
Imagine you come to I'm so serious. Like, imagine you come to work. Like,
talk about the level of stress.
Like, you don't even want to work. Like, we got 100,000 people in the park. Like, bro, like go home. Like, what are you doing? Like, and like inside the it's called the beer garden because I was working in Germany, the German pavilion. And so we're serving a lot of German food, schnitzel, Regermeisters, bratwurst, and there, like, it was a buffet, so they had the different times that the people would come. So they'd be like, we got 5,000 at 12 o'clock, we got 2,000 at 1 o'clock, we're going to slow down, and then we're going to pick back up at 10,000. And you'd be like, at that point.
My God.
Crazy numbers.
Yeah, I didn't even care at that point. And I would have stayed at Disney, but for me, I just couldn't do it because the people, Disney has such good benefits and such good pay that they'll make you stay there for like 40 years, 50 years. I worked with a guy that was there when Epcot opened in like 1980.
Oh, wow.
Oh my gosh.
They asked him if he wanted to cook, and he was like, no, they asked him if he wanted to be part of culinary, and he was like, what is culinary? That's how old he is, And he's been on the same station for like 60 years. So seeing all that, I was like, yeah, this is not for me. And during your internship, they will ask you, like, they'll stop you before your internship ends and be like, do you want a job here? Because they're trying to pick out, that's what they do with their internship. They're trying to pick out the good members to have them stay for like 20 years. So when they asked me, I was like, oh, no, I'm not going to do that. And once I did that, they like turned their back on me and they're like, you know what, he's also not going to stay, so we don't even have to, I had like 2 months left, but they're like, so he's not going to stay, we're not even going to look at him. So I could tell that their loyalty wasn't there, it was just a job at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So with that being said,
you see anything crazy there?
Yeah, but I don't know if I get sued. I ain't trying to get sued, so I'm gonna hold off anything. Hey, them Disney lords looking at their phone with a pen. You know, I ain't gonna say nothing. But whatever happened happens. All I'm gonna tell you is Disney got a lot of money to cover up some stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. They got a lot of money. Anyways,
So, but how? So okay, so then you stopped at Disney, and then what? And then from Disney you went to where?
Okay, so Disney, I was sitting 2 months before my program was over. I'm sitting in Disney, and I'm like, okay, what do I do next? Because I know this program's about to end, and I'm not going back home. The goal, we not gonna go back home.
Oh my goodness!
I've been on this route running for like 3 years before.
Running from home.
Running from home, you know. And I like to plan my moves ahead, so that 2 months before I'm looking for the job, so when my time is over, then I can transition. So I found this random cruise ship in Hawaii. It's like Norwegian Cruise Line, right? So I'm like, all right, you know what?
So you worked on a cruise?
Yeah, I worked on a cruise ship. Yeah, I worked on a cruise ship, right? So I finished my program, and then I get shipped out to Hawaii.
That's pretty cool.
And
how old were you?
That's what I was gonna ask. How old are you?
I was 19.
You were 19?
Yeah.
Living the life.
Yeah, I'm 24 now, so yeah, I was
You're 24?
24? I thought you were like 50 with everything that you've done.
No. This is back in 2017, so yeah, I'm
all right, so you went to Hawaii for a cruise?
Yes, so I worked on the cruise ship.
How was that? How was working on it?
What cruise line was it?
Norwegian Cruise Line.
Norwegian.
Nice one.
The pride of America. It was you can't
So you had your own room in there?
No. There's 4 people to a cabin. Three people to a cabin, 4 people to a cabin sometimes. You know, so you got 2 other roommates, and these cabins are like literally from here to there. Like no, probably like it's probably like this. It literally is like little less than this room.
Yeah.
You know, and with that being said, you know, it was stressful because you have to work every single day. You don't get 1 day off. So if you sign a contract for 8 months, you're working every single day. Like you don't get 1 day off.
Damn, really?
You work every single day. Like, and if you're sick, you have to prove, like, you have to like fight hard to prove that you're sick. And they take you to the doctor and everything. You have to like literally, like, because they will never give you a day off. Like it's in your contract.
How long is the work hours though?
The work hours, like, it depends. Like, do
you get some days that are less work hours?
No, you get the same. You get the same. So the thing I found out about the cruise ship.
So when do you rest?
Y'all got so many questions. I'm trying to answer all the questions. You asked me a question. So the thing is, you either work morning shift or you work night shift, right? You don't get no in between. Morning shift or work night shift.
Okay.
And then you work graveyard shift. I worked graveyard shift, so I was working from 11 p.m. to 3 p.m.
What the heck would you do? Are people even awake?
Oh, I'm doing breakfast.
Okay, so you're prepping for the morning.
So
11 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah, I'm sorry, 12 p.m.
The cruise
I'm sorry, 12 p.m.
24/7.
Yeah, the cruise is 24/7.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 11 hours?
Yeah, so
7 days a week.
Yeah.
7 days a week. You have no choice. So 11.
Why did you take that job?
Let me.
I mean, Hawaii.
I didn't know.
77 hours.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't know about that?
Yeah, so that's how they get you. They're like, oh, Hawaii, yo,
Yeah.
dreams gonna come true. I'm like, okay. Once that boat leaves like that station, like,
That's when you really wake up.
and then on top of that, where you gonna go? What do you?
Yeah, you can't get off.
like we in the middle.
They got you now.
You can't quit.
Yeah, like, no. You can. Oh my god, that's the worst part. It's called it's not quitting. It's called jumping ship. It's not called quitting. It's called jumping ship.
Because that's the only thing you can do.
What?
Yes. So the thing about the cruise ship is that I worked those hours from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. and I worked breakfast, so breakfast buffet. So you gotta prep a lot because when people are gonna once that 5 a.m. in the morning hits, free food. Oh yeah, we finna go crazy, So
He knows.
He's eating that food.
yeah, and you know, I'm not gonna lie on this podcast. I'm not gonna lie on here. You know what my job was on that cruise ship? Like I said, they will. So this is how it works. If you work for that 8 months, let's say it was my job to organize these right here, right? That's all I did. The person that does that for 8 months, and they replace you. They just replace, like, it's like a machine. They just replace the parts. There was a guy that did bacon for the whole ship. So
that's all he cooked was the bacon.
All he did every single day of the week, he cooked bacon. I came on this boat. They were like, "Dang, he's good. He's good. You know what? I know what to give him. I said, "What?" They said, see all this bacon? You gotta make all this bacon. I said, "Huh?"
What?
And then the other guy that I was replacing, he was there for like 2 more days because he was about to leave, and he was like, "Oh, thank God!" Like, he was so happy, and I'm like, "Why are you so happy?" Like, no, I don't want to do this, like, because he's looking like, "Oh, yes, I can finally," like, I'm like, "Oh no!" They give you like 30 cases of bacon, and they give you like 4 conventional ovens, so big huge ovens. They give you 4 big ones. You gotta make all that bacon.
You never.
How long does it take?
If you ever ate bacon room service, you ever ate bacon in a restaurant, there's 4 or 5 restaurants. I made any piece of bacon you ever put in your mouth. I made the bacon.
I made the bacon.
I was at my lowest, to be honest with you, at that point, because for me to be, to come from a restaurant to come and want to learn, to come all the way out to Hawaii and tell people I make bacon, like.
Wait, so what's the average of how much do cooks make?
I made like $10.50.
No.
Yes, but the thing is, like, that's how they get you. You work like 60 hours.
But you're in Hawaii.
No, you work like 60 hours.
But you're on the boat. Are you really seeing anything?
Yeah, exactly. So it's just only to save the money. You know what I mean? Because you can't spend on anything.
Yeah.
So you work.
But it felt like it would accumulate slow if it's only $10.50. Well, I guess it adds up.
I think
you're working like 60. You're working like 60 hours a week.
What is it? 6
and they
months?
pay you for all that?
For how long?
Like 8 months.
So
it's a great way of saving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's really true.
Working
and everything's provided. Like housing. You're not paying no rent. You're not paying. Yeah. Food.
You're eating your own bacon.
Just make your
Are you
bacon.
ever doing anything though?
Huh?
Are you ever doing anything on the boat?
What do you, in terms of what?
Like you don't get
just
free
walking
time.
around.
Yeah.
or-
So that's where it comes. So if my shift ends at 3, I can either go to sleep or I can get off the boat. There's no in between. There's no like break. You either go to sleep or you get off that boat. So if I'm gonna get off the boat at 3 and I go explore, I still have to come back at 12.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's your free time. That time where you're off, that's your free time. You can sleep or you can go do.
So you say today I'll
Bro,
sleep,
that
tomorrow
sounds
I'll go
horrible.
and tour.
Yeah. What's even
That
worse?
sounds like a horrible job. I'm not
Yes.
gonna lie.
Sounds like
But it gave me a lot of discipline because I was.
I already thought you had discipline when you took 4 buses to school.
No. Like,
Waking up at 3:30 in the morning.
no.
Do you eat bacon now?
Yeah, I still eat bacon.
I would be like so tired of the bacon.
No. I was at the time, like for like a year probably. And then I got over it.
How long did you do the cruise ship for?
I did cruise ship for I think 7 months.
7 months.
But the thing is there was people come on this boat and they quit next week because jobs like that. They see it.
Yeah, that sounds so intense.
That's
What do you do when you quit?
Yeah. Do you swim?
That's the crazy.
Do you swim?
That's what jumping ship is. They have a list so long with rules, like 1,000 rules. You break any one of these rules, you have to jump ship. Jump ship is we are going to leave you exactly where we're at, and we don't care. If you quit, you have to literally. They will put out the flaps for the boat. You will walk off the boat. We will leave you where you are at. That's it.
Doesn't matter what country.
If you get fired, get off the boat.
Dang.
That's it.
What if you're in the middle of the ocean?
Get off the boat. No.
They'll wait until you get
So I was like,
They'll wait till we get to our next.
going on?
The boat's going around Hawaii in a circle. So they'll wait till we get to one of the islands repeatedly. So they'll be like, okay, now we're here. Now get off the boat. But imagine
Wow.
you hung your clothes. You decorated your little room or this and that. Get off my boat. Take whatever. Imagine you bought stuff and you have all your stuff. You have to take. They give you 30 minutes too. You don't get.
So you don't have time to grab all your things.
You don't get no day. They give you the minute you get fired. Pack your stuff. An officer will walk with you to your room. Get your stuff and leave.
Wow.
Now. Right now.
I wonder if it's just that cruise line or
No,
they're all like that.
They're all like that. Royal Caribbean, if you're watching this, I ain't say that. But for the most part, and
Wow.
it was the best thing I gained from that was to not quit, because if I'm making bacon for 7 months straight, my mind was just but I had really good friends that I still talk to this day that really
Hope you got through that.
yeah, because in a way I'd be I had one friend, I'd be like, no, what, I don't want to do this, I'm gonna quit. She's like, well, quit then. Well, go ahead. Go, the boat right
I can
there.
imagine Joy being like that.
yeah, and I'm just like, you know what? That's not the life that I want.
I could not make bacon for 8 months straight.
No, not doing that job. I could just imagine you being that friend. Like someone's coming to you, like I feel like quitting. I'm done. You just be like, quit then. Like just leave.
Yeah, and you know, like so. Fast forward, I did that for the 8 months, and then this is the time where I had a little bit of money in my pocket, and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go to Europe. So I leave that, and I live in Europe. And so I'm traveling through Europe. That's when I went to France. I went to Amsterdam, Germany.
And what did you do in each one of these places?
Same thing I was doing before. Just
trying food and learning how to make it.
Mm-hmm. So it was when I got to Italy. That's when my entire life changed. That's when COVID hit the hardest, and it was right at the top of 2020. And it was February 2020. COVID had just hit China, and everybody from China was moving to Europe. And literally in like one day, like I was at the airport, I literally saw like 10,000 people from China. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I saw like literally packed with people from China. And we're in Italy, and the outbreak breaks out in Italy. And these people going crazy like a SpongeBob. They're like, oh my God, like running around. And I'm like, what's going on? And then Trump comes on the TV and he's like, breaking news. If you were not in America by this time, we're gonna close the gate. Because they didn't know.
That must have been so stressful. Did you make it back?
Yeah, because America didn't know what was going on with the whole pandemic. So they were like, let's just close our borders so we don't have them come here. So I had to take a flight from Italy to Paris to New York to Fort Myers. So yeah, just in that order. Crazy. I get back here, and the cruise ship, you get 8 months on, and then you get like 3 months off, and then you come back. So I was supposed to just go back, right? And be like, I planned it out where I could take that vacation, see my parents and say, hi, okay, and then go back because I don't want to come back home. That's the whole goal. We ain't go back home. I get back here. Cruise ship industry calls me in February 2020. They're like, yeah, the cruise ship industry is down. Everybody lost their job. I don't know what you about to do, but everybody lost their job. So I'm like, I'm stuck here in Naples, Florida with no job. You know, I go to one country club. I go apply to one country club. I take the interview. I told him the same exact story I'm telling you. He looking at me like, every day? I'm like, every day. On the cruise ship? Every single day. He's like, 11 hours a day. He was like, you know, and he was like, okay, you know what? We'll let you know if you get the job or not. I start walking in the parking lot. He's like, my phone started ringing. I look back at him. He's like, you want the job? I said, I look back. He over there in the blinds like, I'm like, what the heck? So I go to my friend, and he come pick me up, and I'm like, yo, the guy he was telling me, do I want the job on the spot? This and that. He's like, bro, start your own thing. I'm like, I don't know. So I disregarded what he said, and then my whole company was made off of a lie. Let me explain. So we had this friend. He wanted it was his birthday, and they were like, "Oh, you the chef? Oh, you gonna make something? Like you gotta make him something." I'm like, you know what? I'll make a little something. So I made these salted caramel, triple chocolate, s'mores crusted brownies. Right, to this day.
What?
To this day, we still sell that to this day. I will never take that off the menu. And
what are they called again?
Salted caramel, triple chocolate, Hershey s'more crusted brownies.
That's a long name, but it sounds good.
Yes, really good. So it was his birthday. I made him the brownies. He took the brownies, and everybody was going crazy. And then I posted on social media on Snapchat, and that's when Snapchat was like super, super big at the time. And somebody was like, "Hey, are you selling those?" And I was like, "Yeah." So he come to my house and he buy one, and then he posted on Snapchat, and somebody was like, "Yo, that looks so good. Where'd you get that?" He's like, "I got it from him." He's like, and then he hit me up. And he's like, "Can I buy one?" And I was like, Yeah. And then I still went to him.
I love this story.
I'm coming to my mom with like $45. I'm like, yeah. I don't need no job. I'm gonna just sling these brownies off. My life changed when somebody said, "Hey, you make food too?" I said, "You know what? I do. I made the food too. You know." So I convinced my dad. This is where it changed. I convinced my dad to quit his job.
What? And
come help me open up our garage as a kitchen, right, to sell food. I come up with my first ever menu. My menu was insane. My menu was like, things were like we had like a chicken sandwich for like $7. I had the lowest prices I've ever had in my life, you know. And I convinced him to open up our garage and return it into a kitchen. Mm-hmm. So we had like our own little line and everything. And
were you allowed to do this wherever you lived?
Who knows?
I mean, I'm sure you need like certifications for that, but it doesn't.
Was it an apartment complex or a house? Where was it?
So it was at a house, but we had a
like a certificate, like
we had a loophole. We had a
something?
loophole. Catering license. So my parents, because they've been in the field so long, they had all the licenses. I was just running the operation, you know. So I'm in there with my dad, and you know, in the beginning, we're getting a couple orders, this and that. Here we go, this and that. My life changed the day the Popeyes and Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich debate came out. So you remember when they were like, "Oh, Popeyes is better than Chick-fil-A."
Yeah,
like,
better?
You remember that chicken sandwich was so big on social media, this and that. I came out with a global chicken sandwich. That same week, somebody tried it and they were like, "Yo, y'all need to go try this global chicken sandwich. Y'all talking about this Popeyes?" And people kept posting it on Snapchat, posting. To this day, we sold like from that house, we sold like 8,000 chicken sandwiches from that house.
I want to try this just chicken sandwich.
Like that chicken sandwich
have it on your menu
to this day. That chicken sandwich had people going insane. Like, y'all need it because everything was closed. All the restaurants were closed. There was no competition.
Yeah.
So they're like, no, everything's closed. Yo, there's this kid in a blue house
in the garage.
Basically like there's this blue kid, bro, in a blue house in the garage making all this food. I used to run my operation from 11 a.m.
What do you mean in a blue house? What do you mean by that?
I lived in a
blue house.
Yeah, so I lived in a 3-story blue house.
Blue? Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's a blue house. So I worked from 11 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day for like 365 days.
How long were you letting people come to your house to buy the food? Like at what time? Till 3 a.m.?
Till 3 a.m.
How much was a sandwich? $7 back then?
Sandwich was like $10 with
How
fries.
How much is it now?
Just the chicken sandwich you sold?
It's like 16.
Okay.
Oh wow.
15,
but that's all
15.
you sold, or you had?
No. I had like a 6-7 item menu.
So is that's the go-to you would say?
Yeah.
Chicken sandwich.
Yeah. That was the go-to at the time. Now everybody's just stranded out and just get what they want because you know they know the story, they know the whole thing, so they just they get what they want. But
was it just like a pickup, or did you have chairs there? People could sit down, just pick up and
just pick up. You come and get your food, and that was it, right? So me and my dad run that, right? And then my mom, she come to me and my dad. She's like, "Yo, so y'all open up this in a garage. You quit your job. He over here helping you." And I'm looking at her like. And me and him looking at her like, and she's like, "What y'all do? Like y'all get it? Like do something? Like what are you doing in this garage?" So then she's still going to work, right? So then me and my dad we still busting out this place, busting. And then we got a little bit busy to the point where we had to hire our first employee. And then
your mom probably like, "What the heck is going on?"
No. And then we hired my aunt. And then my aunt come on board, right? So she was my first ever employee, right? So she helping us bust out the orders because we would get Friday nights. What? We was getting so busy on Friday nights. We had like, I used to have a drive-through. Out
of your garage.
Listen, ask anybody in the city.
How far down the street did it go?
What? I had a long driveway, so it's probably like an acre. So it was like my house is right here.
Was it in the Estates or something?
It was on White Boulevard near the Estates.
Okay, so that makes sense.
My house is right.
Oh my god.
My house is right here, right, all the way in the back. My driveway like this long.
How the heck did people get out of your driveway then?
Yeah, that's a good thing. So these people would come in and literally, I think my peak was when we had cars waiting on curbside pickup. Like I'm over here.
There's curbside pickup. There's drive-through.
Yeah,
there's another level.
I was the only person serving I served every single plate I ever served to any person. It was me. There was nobody else. I never hired a person. So the oven was on the top of my house, but the fryers and everything was on the bottom of my house because I had a 3-story house because it was like the garage is like on the bottom, and then you have to take stairs to get to the second part of the house.
Oh my god, so you just like run.
Yeah, so I would run up and down. Like my calves are insane right now, because the cheesecakes were upstairs, but the food was downstairs. So I'm over here with like 5 orders. Okay, here's your drink, sir. Here's your little straw for that, And I had a lemonade. I had a passion for lemonade to this day, doing numbers, And these small little things, when you ask me about my menu, like that's what the people created my menu. I never created my menu. They created my menu. They would talk to me, talking about like back when I had no fries. I just only served plantains, right? And they're like, "Hey, bro, you should have some fries to the menu."
That's great though.
And then I'm like, okay. I added on the next week. Hey, you ever thought about doing some wings? Like, they created my whole entire menu. So we in this garage. Now we got my aunt. It was the day that because I wasn't big enough yet, I was doing copycat recipes of other establishments, you know. So I think I made like a loaded fry. You ever been to Miller's Ale House?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
made like a loaded fries, and like, you know, it was trying to match Miller's, because anywhere that people were going, I was looking at where are they going. Okay, how can I make the same thing so they come to me? You know. So I made the mountain mount. I posted it around like 2 p.m. No lie, 3 p.m. because everybody was like so used to my Snapchat story. Like right now on Snapchat, I probably have like 10,000 people on Snapchat. So when I post, I'll get like 100 views in like 15 to 20 minutes. So at the end of the day, I'll get like, at the end of the day, I'll get like 1,500 views. So like that was my marketing campaign. Like, you know, Instagram, it's wide. It's like anybody in the world can see you. But on Snapchat, if you are my friend directly and you look at my story, I know who you are directly. Yeah. So those people, that was like my little hub. It was when I posted that melt, posted that too. Everybody getting off of work at like 3, 4. My whole driveway was flooded. Like talking about like 20, 30 cars waiting for me. And I'm on the balcony on the 3rd floor. I bring my mom to the balcony on the 3rd floor. She was like, "Nah, this ain't no game no more. Like this is like
you need to get a food truck or something."
That was the whole point. Yeah. It wasn't. We didn't. You know, nowadays people are waking up and they're like, you know, I think I have the best food. Let me go get a food truck. We needed a food truck because like I can't have 50 cars a day in my driveway. I can't keep doing this. You know. Yeah. And like, it was just like crazy because like Collier County, they thought I was like selling drugs or something because they were like, bro, this kid over here with like 30 cars every day. They I mean, like the way it looked, like it is what it is. But
did you ever get in trouble?
Never, because so many people. The reason why I never got in trouble.
What year was this?
2020.
So this was 2020
to 2021.
The pandemic.
And then when did you get the food truck? What year?
I got the food truck on Thanksgiving Day, 2020. Thanksgiving Day.
2020 also?
Yeah, Thanksgiving Day.
And the food truck's a big food truck.
Yes.
It's big.
Yes.
What made you get a food truck and not open a restaurant?
Yeah.
Because at the time, I believe food trucks were like newer, and they were like, you know, like it's like, oh, this was the new wave. Because I wanted to be mobile. Because the way I was mobile for them to come to me, I wanted to be able to go to them, and nobody was doing it at the time. You know, like people, there were a couple of them, but they weren't like doing it big. You know, so I'm like, if I can get to the people, all right, let's do it. So we get the food truck in November. And
is it easy to get a food truck?
No, it's a lot. One, it's a lot of money. Two, it's like
do you need like any licenses or permits?
Yeah, you have to have all the licenses, all the permits, all this and that. But the people supported me so hard. Like I'm talking about, like your order was like $9. They'll give me like $50. Like I'm talking about, like this was like almost every order. It'd be like 40, 50, Aww. 40. Because they saw me like I'm not hiding anything. You know, you see me doing this from my house. You know, they see my family helping me out. So you know they understood it, you know, and it was personal for me because I served every single plate from that time frame. So I knew every single person by name. I knew what they ordered. I knew what they were gonna order.
People love that.
Yeah, and like that's why they just kept coming, you know, because they're like, why am I go here? Like they knew. It's like, you know, a charity when like you go for a GoFundMe. They knew where the money was going. They knew when they gave me that money. They knew I wasn't like spending. They see me every day, you know. So it was better for them to spend it there in their eyes, you know. So when we got the truck, it was a big thing. Not just for me, but for the community, because I didn't do any of this alone. They employed me. They put me in position. And like anything that I ever have to do for the city, I would do it for the kids and, you know, just my community in general, because they put me in this position right now. I wouldn't be here anywhere without them, you know. Like you could have went anywhere else. That's my words that I always say. You could have went anywhere else, but you came here. Like you could have went him. You could have went him. I have so much. I'm in a house. I don't have a restaurant. I don't have anything. Like you could have went there, but you came here. You know. Yeah. So we're doing that for a year, and then March 4th comes. That's our grand opening. That's a special day for me because we were not prepared, because the amount of people that like I didn't think that many people cared. But
where did you park?
What grand opening? The food truck grand opening.
Food truck grand opening.
Okay.
March 4th, 2021. We parked on Collier Boulevard, near the La Mexicana store where they sell the tacos. They sell the yeah tacos and then something seven food mart. They sell like tacos over there.
Yeah, we know that.
We parked across from there because my pastor, he owns the property and he has like a church on there, so he let us park our truck on this like straight grass, right? So it was so flooded that they tried to shut us down 3 times.
That day?
Because the cars were already all around the food truck, but they were leaning in towards the street, so they were blocking the street, so people couldn't even, that intersection on Green Boulevard, people couldn't even go. So these police officers, they're like, what is causing all this traffic? And they're like, and they're looking at the line, they're like, it's this food truck right here, and they're telling us like you need to stand down, like you need to like turn this off, like make these people go away, like. And I'm like, God. And my pastor, you know, God bless him, he passed away around 2022. He's the reason why that day happened, because he told the police, like he works in the courthouse, so he told the police, like, listen, they're not doing anything bad, like just let them run this, like just let them, you know, have this day, and I promise, like we'll move like the next day, but just let them have this day today. And when I say the city came out and supported, like you had people, you know, to this day I still feel bad, like you had people waiting like 3 hours for a chicken sandwich just for one, like, wow. And they were happy. They were like, we don't care, like we here for you, like we don't care about the sandwich, like we here for you. And
that's like, what's so nice about Naples.
Yes.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yes, and you know, those same people, you know, to this, I have the same customers to this day, you know, to this day from that house, you know, like I've acquired more, but the core still here, you know, and they've been watching me rise ever since. Since then, it was I believe it was that same year in April of 2021, we won Best Food Truck of Gulf Shore 2022, and that's when things like it went like straight up and never went down, you know.
Did your mom join you guys?
Oh yeah. I think I never explained that. My mom joined us back in 2020 because she was working at a job, and then they had offered her a head chef position. Like they were gonna build a restaurant. She was gonna run the show, like do everything, and they were like, okay, like you can run this, or you can come with us in the garage. And she looking at us, she looking at them, she looking at us. She's like, I'm gonna go with my family. So we all like we all like came together. So. In that April 2020, after we won that award, magazines started reaching out. I think we've done everything. I think Naples Daily News, ABC, Today Show. We've done every publication there is. You know, when it came to that time frame, it was a little bit hard because, you know, I was trying to manage running that truck because I'm 24, so I don't have a lot of like, I know more about social media than I know about the business aspect. Mm-hmm. So I can get in front of the people to buy the product, you know, but it was the things in between. Like managing all that.
Keeping
like,
the same quality or consistency.
Exactly. I'm 21 at the time. My parents have a lot of experience, you know, and I'm 21 at the time. And, you know, like, it's kind of like hard to like run the show and like you're 21, you know, like it's like there's a lot of like I don't learn something until I make a mistake and somebody teaches me it. So there was a lot of those, you know, hard turns that I had to make, you know, realizing like my price, like, okay, if I sell it for this X or whatever I'm doing, like am I gonna make the profit back? My parents helped me out a lot with that, you know. And so transition, first truck, it's going good. We added solar panels to our first truck, and we're actually the first truck in Southwest Florida to ever like, you know, run on solar. So I get a lot of calls.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I get a lot of calls from people on YouTube. They call me because we have a reality show too on YouTube. So we like filmed our lives like with all that happening. And they'll call me and they'll be like, "Oh, I see you went solar. Like, how can I do that? This and that."
Great.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
and
so
I think for the type of food that you're selling, which is like global, right? Going the food truck route, I think it's the smartest way to do things, because I think that with a restaurant, so many other things come with it. That like the whole overhead. That it just sometimes makes it impossible, to kind of like even break even.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And for me, it was more so. It wasn't about the food. It was about bringing those people together. So I had people from all nationalities buying food. If you have like if you have like an Argentinian restaurant, you'll have like you're leaning more so on that Argentinian crowd because they want that homemade meal. But I had people Chinese, Black, Latino American. That was when I look at a line and the line is long and I see people from all around the world. That's what I wanted. Everybody come to a place where we're here for the food. We're here for the same reason. I don't know you, he don't know you, but we all here as one. That was the goal to accomplish at the end of the day. And so we did that for about a year, and then it came down to getting the second truck. So we got the second truck in August of 2022, but the problem with that is that. So I used to run vending machines as like a side business, in January of 2022, and my first vending machine I ever bought, it was stolen. So
oh god,
I had bought a vending machine from a tire shop for like $500 here locally, and I find out it's stolen from another guy who's a chef. And so because they have a card reader on the vending machines, and when you try to activate it, they'll be like, oh, it's linked to this account, and I'm like, whose account is it? His name is Bob, and I'm like,
Bob.
and I search up his name, and I'm like, and it's like Creative Catering Naples, like big chef, like doing all these different. I'm like, oh no, I can't be beefing with no chef on the internet. So I was like, so I called him and I told him like, listen, I got your machine. Somebody sold it to me, this and that. And that day, you know, he just asked me if I had it, and I said yeah, and I didn't lie to him. So fast forward around that time, fast forward in March, before August, right? In March, he says, listen, I'm selling my vending machines. Do you want to buy them? I said, I can't buy them. You know, like I had gave that up, and you know I didn't want to do it anymore. And then he's like, okay. Fast forward in August, I'm buying the truck. Same exact week, like literally the same week. If it wasn't the day before, it was the day after. He calls me on the phone. He's like, I'm selling my business. Do you want to buy it? I said, I told you before, I'm not buying no vending machines. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, my catering business. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I got a full kitchen. I got everything. I'm like, nah, that's not. Nah. He playing with me. I'm like, no. He's like, no, come over here right now. This man had a full kitchen. This man had a full liquor license, all the catering setups, like all the dishes, all the plates, dishwasher,
everything you possibly could need.
And you know, I'm still at my house with my first truck, you know, but I'm taking it out, you know, when I go back and forth. But I didn't have a kitchen. With the second truck coming, you know, he sold the kitchen to me, and he sold me the whole entire business. And when I asked him how much was it, he was like, "You tell me the price." I said, "What you mean?" He's like, he told my parents that he sold it to me, not to them. He sold it to me as a person because that first day I didn't lie to him, and he knew he could trust me. So he knew I could take this on and bring it to where it needs to go, you know, and continue this. So ever since that day, we got the second truck, and then we got that kitchen, and I've been we had to remodel it. We had to there's so much problems with it, you know, and it's one of the only freestanding commercial kitchens in Naples because a lot of the kitchens are connected to a restaurant. Mm-hmm. So it's literally it's like imagine if I walked in here and it was just a kitchen, you know, like it's just I can just come in here.
Is that kitchen in Bonita?
No, it's no. See, the one in Bonita you're talking about. There's one in Bonita, the one in Fort Myers, and then there's mine in Naples, Florida. Okay. So this is the only one in Naples, Florida. Okay. It's on Y'all Street.
Do you rent it out?
Yes. So it used to be a storage unit.
Oh wow.
It used to be a storage unit. Whoever built it, they took 2 storage units, they put it together, and then they made it a full-size kitchen. Like it looks exactly like you went to a back of a restaurant kitchen, and they put in all this equipment, all this and that. So this is what they added on. This isn't what was there. So it got passed down to one person, to Bob, and then Bob owned it from 2007 to as of recently 2002. Now I'm the third person to go through with it. It's kind of stressful. Because, you know, running 2 trucks and...
Mm-hmm. How many employees do you have now?
7.
Between the 2...
Yeah, 2 trucks.
Trucks and
then, yeah, and then recently this year we just started doing airline caterings. So we do a lot of private jets. Those are fun. You know, seeing those big jets, you know, going on them and, you know, serving them. They got bedrooms in there. They got game rooms in there. Crazy. But yeah. And yeah, now we're here.
That's a great awesome. Story.
Yeah,
man. Look, we definitely for sure got to do a part 2.
Oh, part 2
eventually, because there's a lot of things that there's so many more questions to ask. But I just feel like you've done so much, and you're only 24.
Such a short time.
I left one thing out recently. This was 2 months ago. We just won Best Food Truck 2023. So we won. Nice, both years in a row. So
that's congratulations.
Awesome. So yeah, that was for my family, that was a big accomplishment, you know, because to do it the first time, it's all right, let's you might got it, you know, but to do it 2 times in a row, and the second time I was like, I'm not gonna get it, you know, and it's one of those things where the people have to vote for you, you know, so to still have that same support, because I thought it died off, you know, to have that same support still to this day, you know, and they're so supporting it.
Well, whatever you're doing it right.
Yeah,
because of the community is
Yeah, we're gonna go straight from here to the food truck. But man, thank you so much for joining us today. And like I said, we got to do eventually a part 2.
Part 2.
And And we're gonna go try out that chicken sandwich, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, man. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.